What's going on, guys? BassFishin Electronics Pro staff member Brett Carnright here, and today we're going to be installing the BassFishin Electronics Humminbird Mega 360 to Lowrance Ghost brackets. All right, guys, in the box you're going to get a business card, contact information, as well as a sticker. In here you're going to see 3 dog bones, as well as an Allen key for the installation. So we'll pull all 3 of these out and lay them out and get a look at it. Okay, so what you're gonna find in the box are 2 that match, and then you're gonna have 1 dog bone that has like a plastic rotating bearings deal in here. So if we come up on the trolling motor, the 2 that match, they are going to mount to these sections of the trolling motor that don't rotate. And then the one with the swivel, that one's gonna actually mount to the shaft of the trolling motor that actually rotates. We just got all 8 of our Allen screws out of here, so we can split it in 2. This is going to line up here. Okay, so I just put 1 screw in there. I left all the screws out up here, so I just have 1 kind of holding it here. And I'm going to slide my 360 cables up through here. Okay, I'm just going to do that for now. Okay, I have the second dog bone. I'm going to take all 8 Allen keys out of here. All right, so we've got the 8 screws out of this one. And what I'm going to do here, okay, I'm going to install it just above the collar here on the trolling motor. Just going to put 1 screw in it again, kind of hold it all there in place. I've got 2 of them installed to the shaft of the motor. It does not rotate, and I've got my 3rd one here. You can see they're just kind of loosely installed. I'm going to get my 8 screws out of this last one, and that one's going to mount down here on the actual shaft of the trolling motor. Our 3rd dog bone taken apart here. You can see we've got the plastic bearing material. It already is split in 2, so I'm going to line that up here. Our other half on here. And I'm going to put 1 screw in it just to hold it all together. You can see I'm still able to rotate my 360 here so I can get it lined up with the bow of the boat. You got to make sure that you leave enough slack in your cables so that when the trolling motor is on spot lock or when you're turning, you don't have any binding in your trolling motor cables. So what I'm going to do is deploy the trolling motor and make sure that I'm able to rotate everything and not have any binding, as well as make sure that my live scope transducers are not going to hit the module of the 360. I want to make sure that the 360 doesn't hit these transducers when I'm moving it, so I can move this thing from forward mode back to perspective. And I just barely, I have probably a couple, whatever, millimeters of space there. So I know that I can't have my 360 go down any shorter than that or lower than that. So I'm going to come up here and I'm just going to mark this. So I'm just going to take some electrical tape and kind of wrap it around here so that I know but I can't let it go lower than that because I haven't finished tightening everything down here yet. So I've got that as just a marker for myself for now. And I want on the 360, the wider part here needs to face forward, and the narrow part here on the back faces towards the back of the boat. So I'm just gonna kind of eyeball this here in the driveway, but then I'm gonna go in the water and actually show you guys exactly how I line everything up. So for now, it looks pretty good here, but it could be off by like a couple degrees, and I want everything to be spot on perfect. And so we're gonna go out in the lake, and I'm gonna show you guys how I line up with an object on the bank or in the water standing, that I can visually see it out of the water as well as under the water with the 360, make sure that everything's perfectly lined up. We made it out onto the water, and I'm going to show you guys how I align the 360 so that whatever object is, say, 80 feet in front of the boat, it's actually 80 feet straight in front of my boat. So what I've done here is I've power pulled down. I've already kind of aligned myself that I know how far away I am. So I'm about 75 feet away from, you can see that seawall there. So I like to get, typically I do it at this ramp here, at this boat ramp, because we've got a seawall and it's about 6 feet deep, so I can see underwater with the 360 degree transducer all the way to that wall. And then we have a real sharp corner on it. So you want something that's really distinct, such as maybe just like an isolated pole or a small bridge piling, something like that. So I've got the brackets loosened up a little bit. You can see I can slightly turn the bracket here. So I'm gonna put it in the water and I'm gonna see how it looks. Okay, so our image is starting to form here. I'm gonna show you what the seawall looks like. So that right here is the corner of the seawall. So you can actually see the little notches that are coming out, and then you can see that seawall here to our right is here. So you can clearly tell that we want that corner to be pretty much straight up here, so it's in a direct line with that seawall. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come up here and twist the 360. Okay, we just twisted a little bit. Did it get worse or better? Worse? Here is the very corner of that seawall. It's about 75 feet out in front of us. And if you look and make a straight line off the very tip of the, straight here off the tip of my boat all the way to that seawall, it is pretty darn close. It's probably about as close as you're going to be able to get it. So you could pretend like that's a rock pile or a brush pile. Now when you see it right there in front of your boat, you make an accurate cast to where it shows that actually appearing on your screen here, you're going to hit it. So now what I got to do is I'll pull the trolling motor up. I just try to be pretty gentle with it, not shake it around, because this is loose still. So I'm gonna actually tighten up my Allen screws, not lose the key. Just used our Allen key. I tightened up all 8 Allen screws there, so it should be rock solid now. I'm gonna put it back in the water and see how it looks again. So we're gonna wait for our pod to load up and start showing us an image. Okay, here is the very corner of that seawall right there. So everything looks really tight, or really lined up here.